So what we are seeing right now is the reaction to the CPI data that was just released few minutes ago. Very important. Look at ETH. Market is moving upward. So will this market continue this move all the way to the upside? Because I'm looking at something very, very interesting on this price action as a result of the CPI data today. Look at the CPI data right here. We have the core CPI month on month, okay, which is 0.3%. This month on month is not very effective. So don't always pay attention to this very first one, core CPI, because it excludes energy and food. Okay, so for us to know the total CPI of a particular country, in this very case, the United States, we are considering the CPI that include everything, including food and energy. So this very CPI month on month, 0.2%, which is the same, okay, as the previous, which is a little bit lower than the previous, which is very interesting, and also the same as forecasted. And if you look at the year on year or year over year, 2.7%. If you look at it right here, it is covered that the forecast was 2.8%, while the previous was 2.7%, which is the same with the actual. What this means is that the market, in my opinion, is going to do very well. Okay, this is what I am looking at right now. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin, you discover that the market come back down a little bit into this very area, and the market have capacity of moving all the way to the upside. The most important thing about CPI, especially this very data, is that it is what the Federal Reserve use to figure out inflation about the economy, especially in this very case, the United States, and decide if they're going to hike interest rates, lower interest rates, or keep interest rates unchanged. Of course, we already know that this very month, there is no Fed interest rates, okay, and there is no FOMC meeting. So for that very fact, with this very data, we can ride it into next month, September. Between this very period, the September data for August is going to be out. So what next for the market? I am very optimistic about the market right now, and that the market from where it is right here on the price of Bitcoin is going to pick up. The most craziest move to the downside I'm expecting is a move into this very area of 17 and $116,000, okay, between this area, and market is going to begin to move all the way to the upside. So the least retracement in the market is going to come down a little bit. That is if it happens, okay. If it happens, it's going to come into this area between 117 and 116, and then from this very area we're going to see the market to move upward. However, where the market is right now is an important point that we've marked before as a point of interest on this very price action. So expect the market to from here, okay, move all the way to the upside. So right now on the price of Bitcoin, I am very optimistic that the market is going to move all the way to the upside, and that is what you need to pay attention to right now on this very price action, because this is very, very important. And on the price of ETH, market is moving steadily to the upside, but I want you to pay attention to something very important. If I switch back to the 2 hours chart, it is covered that the 2 hours chart point out something very clear here. If you draw this out in this formation, it is covered that this is a rectangular pattern, okay, and this rectangle is an ascending rectangle. Look at it right here. So market was creating new highs, okay, so we have lower highs at this very area, but this very point was very flat. That means this is a ascending rectangular pattern. We see this very low. This low is higher compared to the previous one, and then this low right here is higher than the previous one. So market is creating higher low, and this very high was at this very area, okay. So a breakout here means that market is going to move all the way to the upside. Of course, we can see the market after the breakout just come back down a little bit, retest this area, and then begin to move all the way to the upside. So that is a possibility. However, what I am looking at is for the market to continue this move all the way to the upside into 4,600 and 4,000 $700. Within this very area is my next target. This is what you need to pay attention to right now on the price of ETH. Expect this move to continue this all the way to the upside into this very point, and then from here we can expect retracement back to the downside before continuation. The most important thing right now is the fact that this breakout is in the market right now, and if we see the breakout, that is this candle close. I'm on the 2-hour chart, ETH/USDT. Market close with this very bullish candle. Market can just retrace a little bit, retest, and continue this move all the way upward. So this is what you must have to pay attention to right now on the price of ETH from now moving forward. And on Pi, look at the Pi price action. Markets have been coming all the way to the downside, and right now on the price of Pi, this very area is the point of interest you have to pay attention to. This very area is very, very important. This very area right here is very important. So I'm expecting the market to come back down a little bit on the price of Pi, and once market come back down into this very area, the market is going to have the capacity of moving upward again. So expect market to come back down a little bit into this area, and then from here market is going to begin to move upward. This is what I am looking at right now on the price of Pi. Market should come back down into this very area of interest. And on the price of Blum, we saw the market on the price of Blum last week move upward. Okay, that was weekend, and then after this move market come back down, and of course I am not expecting a crazy drop on the price of Blum again because of this very move, because this very move actually broke a lot of levels. The first level that we see that got broken was this very area, okay, and then secondly this very point. And if you look at it, if market broke these two levels and even this very area right here, so market has broken 3 key important levels. What that also means is that the market now have capability of moving upward after this very retracement. So for me, at this very point, very important area to pay attention to, this very area right here. Pay attention to this because I believe market is going to come back down a little bit on the price of Blum from where it is right now into this area, and then market is going to begin to move upward. This is my personal opinion on price action, Blum USDT 4-hour chart. Expect market to come back down into this area, and then we're going to see recovery for market to move upward on the price of Blum. And this is what you need to pay attention to because it's very important. And the next one here is the price of Solana. If you look at Sol, market come back into this very area of interest. Remember, this was the area of interest I marked previously on this very price action. And right here, market enter into this very point, and we are seeing this very move upward. Obviously, what I am expecting is for the market to from here move to the upside. I am not expecting the market to have a crazy drop all the way to the downside, especially because of this very CPI data that have been released few minutes ago, which means market have capability on the price of Sol to move from here all the way to the upside. And the most important thing I'm paying attention to on this very price action is for this very bullish candle forming right now to close bullish. Not only that, it should close above this very point right here on price action. Okay, it should close above this very area, this very point of 176. Okay, $176. Once this very candle close above this very area, that means it's going to close above all these candles around this very point. And what that means is market is going to have that momentum of moving upward. And this is what I am personally looking at on the price of BTC, ETH, Pi, Blum, and Solana. Very important. And if you look at coin market cap, we discovered that the global crypto market capitalization have increased significantly from 3.83, that was what we saw last week, to 3.98. That is very little billion flowing into the market right now. Is going to make it hit $4 trillion. That is the global crypto market capitalization, which is very interesting. But one thing that is also not very interesting is the altcoin index. Look at it, 32% over 100. We want to see this move a little bit to 60, 70 to see crazy pump in the market. And this is very important. The fear and greed index is now in the grid zone, not very in an extreme grid zone, is gradually entering into the grid zone from this very standpoint. So I am expecting the market to come into the grid zone very well in the next coming days. This is what you need to pay attention to right now. And one other thing that is very important is token unlock. I always advise that before you buy any token, please check out for the unlock date, because 1 month or 2 months to the unlock period, people do sell off. You will see the price decline all the way to the downside. And it's not always good for you to buy a token and discover that the unlock is next month or 2 months to come. You begin to see market begin to dump all the way to the downside. So if you want to buy any token of your choice, after you do your research and be very sure what you're doing, please check the token unlock. If there is any token that is going to be unlocked in the future, and if it's going to have that unlock, when is the unlock? And you can check it out on CoinMarketCap right here. So these are very important things you need to pay attention to right here on CoinMarketCap. Very important. The most important thing right now is that the CPI data remains the same for the year-on-year, 2.7%. And this is not bad for the market, in my opinion. Consider supporting this channel by leaving a like for this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification for more crypto videos like this one. Also check the channel for other crypto content. Join our Telegram channel, the link in the description of this video, and also in the pinned comment for more crypto updates. Thanks for watching.